Yeah, welcome to another episode, Sunday edition, chatting with the Natty. Boom, 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 boom. Just got out of church. Been going to church for, I don't know, a month or so. What's up, bro? My guest just arrived, so I'm going to stop what I was talking about. The button. See if you're able to hop in.
Hey,
Yo,
how we doing?
still got the wonderful competition glow.
Oh, gee, boy, bronze up.
It looks good, man.
Thank you, thank you. I try and keep it on as long as I can because it's good for pictures.
Couldn't agree more, dude. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. So how are you feeling after the show?
Fantastic. Honestly, great in all aspects, like physically, mentally, emotionally. It was my first time pushing from one show to the other within 2 weeks, so that was new. So just lots of new information, lots of new data gathered, and here we are.
I know that you're probably still processing a lot of the data, but like, what are some thoughts that come to mind so far as this being the first experience of doing a back to back?
Yeah, so first thoughts are just length of prep, gauging that properly, different food sources, what digests better, what to peak with, just stress, just all sorts of things. I haven't had too much time to reflect, like you said. So, this is all part of that reflection right now, I guess.
I
We're in the
love that.
present moment.
Yeah, man. Great. One thing I wanted to touch on, and I kind of wanted like to kind of set this conversation off. When we were DMing yesterday, you were saying how God's given gift, like this journey, and how like you're still like you don't fully understand it. You just know that it's a gift and a phenomenon. And I was
Yes.
hoping that you could elaborate a bit more about that feeling and this understanding that like what's happening is special.
For sure. No, honestly, I think it came to me more so, around the age of 17, 18. I kind of just realized that, pursuing the authentic self is really the way to go. And throughout that journey of finding my authentic self, I kind of found that every step of the way there's cues and there's key points that kind of pop out at you, and you just have to believe in yourself and making the right choice to keep being that authentic self. So what I meant by that is kind of like, I guess I don't really know, honestly. Like, I'm honestly just choosing the authentic self every single day at every single moment and what's best for me, my family, and all sorts of things like that. And it's just an energy. It's a feeling. I feel like my heart rate, my breath, everything seems more grounded every time I make those decisions. And it kind of led me to, positions like this on a live with you and, winning some medals at a show and impacting others' lives. And you know what? I don't have a real solid answer. So that's where I'm at.
That's a great answer, man. That's a great answer. And I think this next question, I have an idea as to what you're going to say based off of that, but I'll still ask it. What can you articulate what you want out of your passion for bodybuilding?
100%. So I firmly believe that instilling the belief in others that they can overcome whatever it is that they desire. So that passion and that willingness to be my authentic self, I believe radiates an energy that others can feel and actually, identify with and go, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. No matter what it is. Is it bodybuilding? Is it playing chess? Is it playing
Yeah,
frisbee? Is it taking
yeah.
care of your family? Man, it's all aspects of life. So I think the impact on others to have self-belief is truly where it's at.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. That's exactly how I feel about all of my aspirations. So,
That's amazing.
yeah. Okay. Well, geez, like we're synced in now. Um, how much do you know about the project that I'm putting together?
So honestly, I've just been seeing the posts about like
Mhm.
what you've been doing. So I know it's called the Natty King. It's a 30 warrior, one crown. There's a cash prize and a cinematic docu series. So I saw that, and it intrigued me because I've always grown up like watching Batman, Superman, and all these like different villains, and there's always the one that has the muscle. There's always the one that's aesthetic. There's always the one that stood out to me that really kind of kicked butt for the right reasons.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was kind of, intriguing to kind of see that this sport has been something that has helped me mentally, physically, emotionally. And now that there's like a variation of opportunity, I'm here, bro.
Dude, I can hear it. I can hear it. That's awesome. You actually, as you're talking, you made me have a thought that I was thinking about for like the past couple of days. I just got out of church, and the pastor was talking about like super Christians, right?
Hmm.
And I play often because very similar to like what you just described. I grew up with comic books and animes and like really great stories, like epic stories. I've always been into epic stories, and that's what I'm pursuing so far as my passion is concerned. And I saw an opportunity to tell a really epic story within the natural bodybuilding community, and that's what this conversation is. Like we're creating epicness within
Yes.
the entire landscape of natural bodybuilding. All right. So with that in mind, the pastor used the phrase super Christian, and then like he referred to other Christians as like just Christian, right? If you're to like think about heroes and superheroes or natural and supernatural, I would like to ask you the question: what is the difference between super and not super? And you could apply it to super and superheroes and heroes, supernatural and natural, et cetera, et cetera. Like how do you
Hmm.
define the two?
I'm not certain. That's an interesting one. I'd have to think about that. Let me give me a sec here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the difference, or how I would identify the two. So you're asking like, what's the difference between just like a regular hero and like that enhanced, that mega, that number one?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I'll put it to you like this, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you take a human's natural abilities, right?
Hmm.
And we all have the same natural abilities. We can go to the gym, we can work out, we can improve our natural abilities and tap into our latent natural human potential
Hmm.
and continue to like evolve and grow in that way, right?
I understand. I
Okay,
think I have an answer for you. I think I have an answer for you.
go
So,
on, go on.
how I see it is like if everybody has this natural born ability, I think the difference would be knowing when to plug in these abilities. Having the insight and the foresight and the maybe X-ray vision, if you want to call it, to be able to kind of see and plug in what's to come next for the outcome of the greater, population.
Okay, okay, and that's where the super comes into play.
That's where the super, because not maybe we have all the same abilities, but are those abilities being applied at the right time for, the best outcomes?
Wow, wow, yeah, that does sound pretty super. Okay, let's talk about really quick. One of my favorite athletes to refer to is Michael Jordan, right? And his nickname was Air Jordan, okay? And he was called Air Jordan because of the way that he floated through the air when he's like making a slam dunk or whatever. And his abilities on the court, on the basketball court, seemed to ascend beyond the normal NBA player, right? So you could almost say that he had supernatural abilities with the basketball in relation to the other top athletes of the world, right?
Yeah.
So when I consider that, how would you like how does that translate to natural bodybuilding? If we have like elite level natural bodybuilders, what would be the supernatural version of a natural bodybuilder if you had to like describe it? Because what we're looking to do,
Hmm.
we're looking to establish natural bodybuilders as heroes, but we also want to create an opportunity for them to be superheroes. So like
Yes.
I'm looking to define or describe what that would look like, what that juxtaposition would be.
I think what that looks like is like away from the stage is being that leader in your community as well, just promoting the health, the wellness. It's not about the trophy, it's about the journey. So
Well said.
really being, that foresight, being the headlights for the younger individuals or even the less knowledgeable individuals is very important, because I think we know where we're headed. So if we know where we're headed, it's very important that we can get it out there and kind of showcase what that right direction may be, and not in a forceful way, but maybe in more of an opportunistic way, like this is possible if you put your mind to it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so being a leader off the stage.
Yes,
I couldn't agree
absolutely.
more. I couldn't agree more. Okay, here's a big question. What place do you think steroids have, if any, in the sport of bodybuilding?
um I believe they're an external part. I don't think they play any part unless you just want to take it to a bigger size. Like, I firmly believe the sport itself of bodybuilding is fully achievable, like, naturally already. Like, we're already doing, if let's say there's 10 parts to the sport, as an example, we're already checking every box, and like adding in the enhancements is like putting an 11th on there, I don't think that it actually changes much.
Right.
I think you can still be a leader outside of the stage with that. I think it's yeah, it's that 11th piece, let's say, and it doesn't necessarily change the sport, but it brings it to a different level, which appeases some, I guess.
That's fair. Now, and I'm in agreement with you. If we both agree that steroids are not essential to the sport of bodybuilding, why is it, and again, this is completely open to your own interpretation, why is it that the top bodybuilders are all enhanced?
I firmly believe that this world runs in a capitalistic way. Just to be real honest, so it draws in the eyes, it draws in the money. It's an extremity, and when you have extremities in the world, people are drawn to that. So I think that that's where the focus has been. But I do believe that there is top bodybuilders that are not enhanced, and people just don't regard them or value them the same way because they don't quite have that wow pop factor that maybe an open pro would.
Okay.
So I just think maybe it's the monetary, it's the way society works. I'm not too certain. Different cultures may have different views on that too.
I think that's pretty just. If we were to, would you agree that with the whole extremity thing and them thinking that that's the main draw, even though if we were to take a second and consider that bodybuilding and the popularity of it kind of peaked, I would say at around the Ronnie Coleman era. I think that's when it was probably at its highest level of popularity. Arnold Schwarzenegger started it, and then decades past, you have champions like Dorian Yates, Lee Haney, and then you get to Ronnie Coleman, and at that point, the mass monster was King Ronnie, like that was his nickname. And from there, I don't think the sport has ever really grown beyond the success of Ronnie Coleman. Keeping that in mind, let's say it is capped and there really is nowhere else for it to go due to the fact that the physiques aren't going to get better. If the idea of the top standard is Ronnie Coleman so far as size, conditioning, and shape, it doesn't get better. Like we're not going to get a better Ronnie Coleman, right?
Right.
So, in your opinion, and again, shot out of a cannon, what is the solution to reprioritizing the focus of what bodybuilding is supposed to look like and supposed to be celebrated?
I think we have to stop focusing on the end result of what Ronnie Coleman looked like, and we have to refocus and reprioritize what it took him to get there. Because his foundation was natural, his foundation was nutrition, his foundation was serving his community as a police officer, his foundation was many different things before that. So I think if we reprioritize that, we can look at Ronnie Coleman as like the ideal, but really, what did he do? you
Hmm.
know
Okay.
and instead of it being just stage Ronnie, maybe we reprioritize our focus on the lifestyle building part and reincorporating you know the other areas I just pointed out.
All right, you're hitting it. You're hitting it, man. You keep going back to it's not the moment on the stage. It's everything that's happening outside of the stage. That's what you keep
Yes,
going back to, and I think I haven't worded it like that, but I think you're 100% right. The stage is just a moment in time to
yes,
celebrate the focus, the discipline, the effort, the consistency that a bodybuilder athlete puts in through over the course of years and
yes,
decades
yes,
to
physical manifestation.
a physical manifestation of hard work.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
what the
and
stage
yes,
represents. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. But it's the hard work that is really what creates these star athletes.
Yes, it's the willingness to push past limits behind closed doors, and that's just the reward in you're seeing in public. This is just it's an opportunity. I guess there's other people like the IFBB and all these federations. They give an opportunity for us to kind of step on stage and prove that because they know that behind the scenes and behind everything, all these promoters and all these bodybuilders and all these people in the industry, like it's very subliminal, but it needs to be pushed out there more. Like, why is it so important that we buy our pictures at the shows? Why is it so important that we snapshot this moment? And it's because we know what it takes, and it's about now shining the light on what it takes.
Okay. I love that. I love that. And what it takes is not steroids.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Okay. What place do you think steroids have in the fitness industry as a whole? Fitness
Oh,
industry, and when I say that, I mean encompassing the prioritization of health and wellness and longevity. Because to me, that's what the fitness industry is supposed to represent.
sure. No, that's a great question. What role do steroids play in the fitness industry as a whole in general? Um, you know, I think that we're very curious people. Like humans are very curious. So I think just pushing the limits with science, we have to experiment with it somehow. I firmly believe that fitness individuals are the most open-minded when it comes to those things. We're working on people that are active. We're working on people that have healthy systems. Most of the time, if they don't abuse these things. So I guess it's maybe a good opportunity to see how far we can push the human genome genetics. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that would
That's
be my
fair.
answer, I guess.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
Curiosity. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, Going back to Michael Jordan, who a lot of people consider is like the greatest basketball player of all time, and this is just a philosophical question. Um, do you think Michael Jordan ever took steroids?
It could be possible. I don't discount it because it was readily available a little more, back then within sports. Like we know in the MLB it was used. We know in other sports, and Michael Jordan happens to play baseball. So hey, it's a possibility.
The question I'm looking to really hone in on: does steroids dilute a person's success when it comes to their athletic achievements?
Yes, if you believe that it plays an ethical role.
Yes, if you believe it plays an
So
ethical
if
role.
yeah, like for example, like I just competed this weekend,
Okay.
and it's within the rules to not use performance enhancing drugs to achieve the best placement possible within this show. And
Okay.
if you now choose to step in this show and cross that ethical barrier, knowing that you've enhanced yourself, it can dilute you and your character for sure. But if it is in a different playing field, you
You're
know what I
saying
mean?
it's sanctioned.
Yes,
Okay, so it's not like it doesn't dilute your success if you're competing in a realm where steroids are accessible or like okay, permitted.
for sure, because
Okay.
then at that point there's no conflict of interest in a sense. So
Okay, that's
therefore
fair.
it's like you should want to play your best cards.
Okay. Let me get your perspective on this because I agree with a lot with what you're saying. Um the reason I've never wanted to take steroids and I just want to hear your perspective on it is it started out with vanity. It started out with vanity.
Hmm.
Like I've been working out since I'm since I was 17. I'm age 33 now, right? And the concept of taking an external substance to improve my physique has always been like the most revolting concept to me ever because then I can no longer give credit to my genetics. I can no longer give credit to my consistency. I can no longer give credit to me. I can't give credit to Shaun Fury if I'm taking external substances to create this physique that everybody is jaw dropping at, right?
Yeah.
Let me get your perspective on that because like the other day I had the thought, why would the greatest of all time, which is something I'm aiming for, like that's the title I want to go down in history with,
Yeah.
why would the greatest of all time need to take steroids?
Good question. So my perspective on that would be I actually agree with you. Like I then that's one of the reasons and one of the main components of why I haven't taken it either is because I firmly believe it takes away from, like you said, like you were born with a certain ability, and
Yeah.
the fact that you're interrupting that ability and nature's process by adding external things, yeah, I think it takes away from you. So, what's that second question you asked?
Shit. why would why
Why
would the
would the
greatest of all time need
yes?
to
Why
take
would they
steroids?
need it? I don't
Yeah.
think that I don't th- because I think our measure I would say the greatest of all time doesn't need it, but I'm sure there have been greats that have used it.
Mm.
I mean, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to.
But and that's fine. That's fine. But are they the greatest of all time? Of all time? Because like, all right, I'm gonna put myself in Michael Jordan's shoes for a second, right?
Yeah,
And I'm thinking like greatest of all time. That's my mentality. Like my mentality is I am the greatest of all time, right? So if I'm the greatest of all time, let's say I'm in the realm of basketball, and I already know I am the greatest of all time, and I'm just starting out my career, and a coach comes up to me and says, "Hey, bro, if you want to be the greatest of all time, you got to take these steroids." I'm looking at the coach, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
already the greatest of all time,
Yes.
so I don't need steroids to affirm a belief
No,
that
exactly. No, you would not. No, but I think like I completely agree with you, and I think I maybe thought of it more like to achieve what other people think the greatest of all time is. Some people may think they need those.
which means that they don't believe it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't believe it. Like
Yeah.
if you can have someone else convince you that you need something in
Yeah.
order to be this like realized, fully actualized person that like you want to become, and someone is convincing you that you need to do like you need to take something, then you don't believe it. You don't
No,
believe that about yourself.
it's kind of like why would you need an extra piece of the puzzle when your puzzle's already made? You know?
Exactly. This is the whole like, dude. Well said. Well said. But that's like that's the compelling argument that I'm looking to like
Yeah.
present to the
Sure.
sport and the industry.
Interesting.
It's like we came into this world with all of the tools that we have that we need to achieve greatness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now with like this current perception that, if you have a great physique, you're taking steroids, you've got fitness influencers lying about it, you've got athletes who are like, trying to sweep it under the rug that like their physique was achieved through performance enhancing drugs. Whereas like from natural bodybuilders' perspectives, we never needed them in the first place because we came into this world ready to achieve greatness.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. How do you feel about the fact that, and obviously, like in today's society and culture, there is like a get rich quick
Yeah.
psychology,
Hmm.
and it's definitely screwing up the idea of enjoy the journey.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
like the way I see it, if like throughout our entire lifetime, where like we go on this wonderful journey of peaking ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, which we all have an opportunity to do if we like just commit ourselves to that purpose, then if like it doesn't end until you like breathe your last breath, wouldn't the idea of taking something to shorten that journey, which would also shorten your life, where's the appeal of shortening the journey of this experience of life? Does that make
I
sense?
I think people are confused. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
people are confused, and I think once they've made that decision, it's not. You can always choose to revert that decision and kind of repurify yourself in a sense if you want to say so. But I don't think that like in a more spiritual way, I think you can reclaim that time by cleansing yourself, doing all sorts of things, stopping the drugs and whatever. But I think in like a competitive sense, in a bodybuilding sense, I don't think you can ever re-cleanse yourself, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
So there's no appeal. I don't think there's really an appeal to it like at all. I think people are confused is my answer to that. Yeah.
Would you say the same, like, because I'm looking to create a category, and let's say steroids and performance enhancing drugs falls within this category of not necessary. Would you put Ozempic in that same category?
100%.
Okay. And
That's
the other,
crazy. That's
okay.
crazy. Oh yeah, anything that stops your natural processes is absolutely not stops, but even has an effect on your natural processes. I
Uh-huh.
don't consider. I would put in that category for sure. Yeah,
Because between you and I, it dilutes the experience of the journey.
exactly. Less authenticity. Like you're knocking off points of your 100% you.
And what I've noticed, how much of a fan of you are with animes and stuff like that?
So I I used to watch Naruto like all the
Great.
time. Like
Great.
that's like kind of like, but I never really. I didn't get into it to the point where I like have favorites or I have all that stuff.
That's
I
okay.
just really liked the idea that there was always like an antagonist protagonist
Hmm.
situation where
Sure.
like I said, I grew up watching superheroes. I grew up
Yeah.
watching and somebody was always the good guy, the bad guy. So they're really
Right.
cool. They're really
Right.
cool.
I'm with you on that. So what I've noticed when it comes to like fictional storylines, whether they're presented in anime, cartoons, comic books, something outside of like the reality that we're currently living in, whenever a person takes a supplement to improve their like overall performance, their overall athletic performance, 9 times out of 10, it's looked down upon. It's
Yeah.
discouraged within like narrative fictional storylines,
Hmm.
whether it be in like anime with Naruto, or like you have like a person who's competing against another person, and the person like is insecure as to whether or not they're going to win. So then they take an external substance to get
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
it's the way that the story is crafted. The audience understands that they are cheating and
Yes.
that they are doing a disservice to the integrity of what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
So
No, for
if
sure.
that seems to be a very recurring theme across the board whenever it comes to
Hmm.
like a story, then why is it accepted and encouraged within this sport? If it flies against like
For
the
sure.
natural human element of like achievement and pursuit of your own greatness, why is it being championed in the sport of bodybuilding? Like, how does it make sense?
It doesn't.
Okay, okay. How did this happen? How did this happen? It got normalized really early on in the sport. It got normalized really early on.
You know, gee, I think we're humans. Like humans are creatures of habits, and we give in to all sorts of dopamines, and we give into all sorts of releases, and it might possibly play into the our the way our systems are with serotonins and dopamines, and maybe we just found that it actually like I was talking about, it's about off stage as well. So maybe it was helping, farm work. Maybe it was helping. I don't know. Maybe it got normalized in the sense that a bodybuilder happens to also be a strong individual. So that's
Mhm.
also looked up upon. So the stronger you can be, the better. And that got skewed somewhere across the lines. I'm not
Right.
certain.
So, the brief history that I understand about how steroids got into the sport, like I said, the minute that steroids were invented, they were quickly integrated into the sport of bodybuilding by way of powerlifting. So,
Mm,
the way that it worked was powerlifters got a hold of steroids first. The scientists created the compounds, and then the powerlifters started taking them and saw that their strength and performance was going up in these lifts. So then it's like, okay, well, let's just keep taking, let's just keep experimenting with these new compounds to see how far we can go. Bodybuilding got a hold of it directly after powerlifting to see if the same thing would occur if the entire intention of bodybuilding is to get bigger, because like that's what bodybuilding means. You're building your body, and then they start taking steroids and they see that it works. They get bigger, then it becomes normalized very, very quickly. They didn't even consider the ethics of, does taking this compound actually, is it perceived as cheating? Like that wasn't even questioned.
right,
It was
right.
just like, this is a new supplement, because that's what it is. It's like a supplement, it's a compound, right? There's new science out there that if you take this, you will get bigger, right? And that's why it became normalized, because the whole goal was to get bigger, right?
Hmm.
What I find fascinating about the whole thing is that you can take steroids and that's normalized in the IFBB at the very least. But if you take synthol, then it's weird. Like you're like, you know what synthol is?
Yep.
Yeah. So like if you're injecting synthol, then it's like that's a little bit
Yeah,
discouraged.
there's like gray areas, and it's
Yeah.
like what makes a gray area, and
Exactly.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you for sure. Yeah, no, it's very very intriguing, and it's cool that you reintroduced the history of it because I uh, I didn't quite know that it was in bodybuilding. I thought it would have been more like like genetic, you know, uh, sorry, like like burn victims, things like that, like regenerating.
Nope.
But that's cool.
As far as like the way that it got into like athletic performance, powerlifting into bodybuilding, like that's where steroids really got its foothold. And for some reason, it didn't like it got normalized in those sports, but did not get normalized in other sports, even though performance enhancing drugs do just that. They enhance your performance. So it's acceptable in these sports, but like if you're taking performance enhancing drugs in cycling, like Lance Armstrong, he's a cheater.
Yep.
If you're taking performance enhancing drugs and get caught in basketball, soccer, hockey, anything, football, like you
Hmm.
can go across the board, you're considered a cheater.
Yeah. Well, then it's like I think it's like Land of the Villain. You know what I mean? It's like so on.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's like everybody on there knows that like it's
Hmm.
like unacceptable elsewhere. So I guess like they're on the other side of the tracks and they're okay with that, and that's okay because if we're all doing it, then it's not it's normalized, like we were saying, and then you're not demonized for it in a sense because it's actually rewarded on the stage and in life at that point.
Okay, this is wonderful, and that's an amazing insight, and I think you're onto something. Are you familiar with WWE?
I am.
Okay, who's your favorite face?
Randy Orton.
Face? Are you?
I don't know. I'm not familiar that well. I have no.
That's
I
okay.
just
That's okay. Randy Orton, he's played face and heels, like so that's fine. Okay, so let's go with Randy Orton. Are you familiar with like faces versus heels?
no, not really.
Okay,
I'm just
so
yeah. You're gonna have to explain that.
very easy, very easy. Faces are heroes, heels are villains. It's just that simple.
Okay.
Okay, so understanding that I am creating a project called The Natty King, which is intended to be a cinematic docuseries that turns into a feature-length film and then an anime that takes place 20 years in the future after the first Natty King gets crowned. We're using the WWE framework to install faces and heels. How do you feel about the concept now that you understand that a face is a hero and a heel is a villain? And you did say the land of the villains when it comes to enhanced athletes normalizing taking of steroids to achieve whatever accolades or achievements that they can achieve, right? How do we feel about the fact that we would be presenting natural bodybuilders as faces slash heroes and enhanced side as heels and villains? How do we feel about that?
I think that everybody's already aware of that. That's what that is the reality. Like it's already kind of like that in like in the real world. Like I don't think they're like people who are enhanced are bad people. They're not even close. I just think that their priorities are not set to find their most authentic self as like we are. So it's like we're chasing a divinity and they're chasing an accolade, and it's like
Mm,
that's a different goal. And
wow.
so
That's beautifully said. That's beautifully said. Um, as heroes, if you're categorizing us as such, what what are we being called to do so far as combating against the villains of the sport?
I think we're being called to look at ourselves and reprioritize what we truly believe is good for humanity.
Mm, mm, okay, okay, all right. How could we put those into actionable steps?
We live it, brother.
Okay,
We live it and be the living example because I firmly believe everybody has the ability to choose for themselves. We can never make someone choose to look inward or try and look outward for the information to then reapply it inwardly. So I'm not too certain. I don't have an answer for that really.
that's fair. I mean, we're just asking questions, and as you very intimately know, this career as a natural bodybuilder is intended to span decades.
Yeah.
So the conversation, the questions that we're having right now, we might get the answers tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now.
No,
But
I
it's
agree.
yeah, it's incredibly important to have conversations like these because I understand that you see where this is heading,
Yes.
and I'm very interested in hearing you articulate the experience that you're having within your own career and seeing how that relates to everyone else who is also pursuing the same path.
Amazing.
You know,
No, that's awesome. No, I really appreciate your time and like you said, there's never one answer to these things either. I think there's always going to be a different spectrum of answers, and over time we'll evolve with information and like I don't think there's a wrong and a right answer. Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave it there.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's just I don't know. I think from my perspective, the enhanced side of the sport, very early on, the minute that steroids became invented and started being integrated into the sport, it no longer became a question as to whether or not they should use them. It just was
Mhm.
like, if your goal is to get bigger, take these steroids and you will get bigger. And that's the goal of bodybuilding.
Right.
And I think that's the core flaw
Yeah.
of the sport. That is
Yeah.
the core flaw. They didn't ask the question, is this bodybuilding or is this just taking enhancements?
I
Taking
agree. I
food.
agree. I agree. Is it
Yeah.
chasing the best version of you, the authentic you, maximizing your true genetic potential, you as Shaun or me as Samuel,
Right.
or is it just a get big, get rewarded, and that's not
Right.
necessarily, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we're on the same page. Um, shit, man.
shit,
Huh.
man, I'm here.
All right, we're on the same page. Okay. Let's just keep grinding, man. Like you're totally locked in. I can see it, and let's just keep being leaders. I think we should circle back around. I love your focus, and I love the
Thank
fact
you.
that like you have a very firm grasp of your trajectory, and I'm really excited to continue to evolve and grow alongside you.
Hey, man. Cheers. That's
Yeah,
some great feedback, and I think we can keep in touch and just kind of so anytime we have some, some passion flow out of us, I guess maybe we'll hop on and speak about it or whatever, you know.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, I'll leave you with this. The Natty King versus the Mr. Olympia, right? Because directly after the Natty King gets crowned, the next segment is going to have to be the Natty King versus the Mr. Olympia. How does the Natty King win?
The Natty King wins by being that full, authentic self and convincing and hmm, hmm, hmm. I'm gonna think of that one.
Yeah, man. Take your time. I'm not
Yeah,
going anywhere.
yeah. I'm
Cool.
gonna think of that one.
Yeah, and like I said, we can hop on whenever. But that's where this story is heading. The Natty King gets crowned. We're aiming for 2028, and then directly after, it's going to have to be a face-off: the Natty King versus Mr. Olympia. Like that's what has to happen, and the Natty King has to win.
Oh,
So,
well, technically he's already won because he's 100% himself. So
oh yeah, we
it's just,
understand that.
it's just time, right? It's just time.
Yeah, yeah, and then also perception,
That too.
because yeah, like I would say, and I was looking for a closing point, but I would say that like the current priority for like the general public is quick fix solutions, get rich quick. Um, the shorter the better, and fame, status, recognition, money, all these different material, tangible things. Whereas
Hmm.
a natural bodybuilder understands that the true thing to prioritize is your own growth that
Yeah,
happens over the course of your entire lifetime. That's the only
yeah,
thing worth prioritizing as a natural bodybuilder. So presenting that new concept, that new philosophical foundation to the general public, that's the thing that we will be strategizing over the course of our careers.
well said. I like that.
Beautiful, man. Let's keep this going. We'll talk soon.
Right on.
All right, bro. Great meeting you.
Keep in touch.
All right, yes, sir. You too.
Take care.
All right, man.